Shana Tova. Okay, Shana Tova.
Do I have to enter into the ladies' room?
They're actually beginning, but okay. It's not an actual contest, but in our ancient texts, Rabbi Mattia ben Harash says, be the first to greet every person. Be the first to greet every person, and be a tail to lions, and do not be a head to foxes. The two sections seem to differ, but they both express a similar idea. Humility, be open to others. Modesty, seek to be the least among the great. As we are greeting one another today, tradition asks us to say Shana Tova, to be inscribed for a good year in the book of life. Kindly do so to your neighbor if you haven't already. Also, please turn off your cell phone. If we hear it ring during the service, we'll have no choice but to start over again with Ma Tovu. We turn, so Shana Tova. We turn to page 114. Eric Hall is our reader. Page 114.
From the Mishnah, if someone sounds the shofar in a well or in a cellar or in a large cask, and we hear the sound of the shofar, we have fulfilled the obligation. But if we hear only the sound of the echo, we have not done our duty. So too, if we pass behind a synagogue, or if our house is next to a synagogue, and we hear the sound of the shofar, or the reading of the Megillah, if we concentrate our minds on it, we have fulfilled our obligation. But if not, we have not fulfilled our obligation. Even though we may hear the sound in both instances, in the first instance, we have concentrated our minds, and in the second instance, we have not. There is no limit to the fulfillment of these mitzvot, leaving the corners of your fields for the needy, giving to God the first fruits of your harvest, gathering with the community for festivals, acting with kindness and loyalty, and striving for knowledge of Torah.
We turn to page 135. Kol HaNeshama will be towards the end of the sun.
Shama
page 136. Our reader is Alan Schwartz.
Shofar, the voice of community. Belonging to Israel is in itself a spiritual act. Blessed are we, blessed our gathering as we open our hearts to the voice of shofar. Here are we hear its call to return, the sacred trumpet to Shuvah. Blessed are we, held close by the ancient sound, the echoes of the door of Ador. From generation to generation, happy are we, rising to the joyful cry of a new year. Blessed are we who hear in these blasts of the sound the voice of community. Here are we who know its embrace, its season of celebration, its quest for connection and purpose. Holy is this gift of community, blessed the act of belonging.
We turn to page 141. Larry Smatroff leads us in the Chatzi Kaddish. Turn to page 142. For those who are able, we rise for the Baruch Hu. I read on the bottom of page 145, Our praise to you, Adonai, creator of the cosmic lights. And we turn to page 148 as I read at the bottom of the page, Our praise to you, Adonai, you have singled out your people Israel with love. Page 150. Please be seated. Page 152. We join together with Linda in the Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu Hadavarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom halevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibartam baham b'shivtecha b'veitecha Uvleftecha v'derek u'shokbecha uvekumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha Leman tizkeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai vitem kadoshim lelohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim Lihiyot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. Emet. We turn to page 163. I read towards the bottom of the page. Remember the stories of slavery, and you will never stop working for freedom. Remember their fear at the edge of the sea, and self-doubt will never defeat you. Remember when desperation turned to celebration, and you will never let go of hope. Remember the words of the Baal Shem Tov. Forgetfulness leads to exile. Remembrance is the secret of redemption. Mi Chamocha, page 164. In the organization of our prayers, we now reference Judaism's founders, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. We gratefully recognize that we are inheritors, that our spiritual vocabulary is built on those who precede us. We turn to page 166. For those who are able, we rise. We will be chanting the prayers on the right-hand pages to page 170. Adonai, Sifatai Tiftach, Ufia Gita Hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei B'neihem, Le'man Shemo Be'achava.
Nechayei hakol atav rav lihoshia.
wellspring of blessing, power eternal, you are the one who gives and renews all life. Please be seated. When I teach the High Holy Days in our Introduction to Judaism class, one of our main texts is what we're about to encounter, Unatana Tokef, translation, let us ascribe power. This dramatic, in fact, melodramatic prayer summarizes a lesson of the High Holy Days. God types on Rosh Hashanah and presses send on Yom Kippur, the message that we don't control fully our fate, and life has not just blessings. The prayer is not teaching that being good shelters the individual from calamity. Clearly, that has not been the human experience. So too, the pain and anxieties that fill this sanctuary are not the consequences of divine punishment. Rather, this prayer is a guide, hence the climactic line, but repentance, prayer, and tzedakah remove the evil of the decree. In other words, they don't cancel the harsh decree, but can help to diminish its harshness upon us. Page 174. Let us proclaim the power of this day, a day whose holiness awakens deepest awe and inspires highest praise for your dominion. For your throne is a throne of love. Your reign is a reign of truth. In truth, you are judge and plaintiff, counselor and witness. You inscribe and seal, you record and recount. You remember all that we have forgotten. And when you open the book of memories, it speaks for itself, for every human hand leaves its mark, an imprint like no other. Page 176. And so a great shofar will cry Tekiah. A still small voice will be heard. Angels in a whirl of fear and trembling will say, behold the day of judgment, for they too are judged. In your eyes, even they are not blameless. All who come into the world pass before you like sheep before their shepherd. As a shepherd considers the flock when it passes beneath the staff, you count and consider every life. You set bounds, you decide destiny, you inscribe judgments. Page 178. On Rosh Hashanah, this is written. On the fast of Yom Kippur, this is sealed. How many will pass on from this world? How many will be born into it? Who will live and who will die? Who will reach the ripeness of age and who will be taken before their time. Who by fire and who by water, who by war and who by beast, who by famine and who by drought, who by earthquake and who by plague, who by strangling and who by stoning. Who will rest and who will wander? Who will be tranquil and who will be troubled? Who will be calm and who tormented? And who will live in poverty and who in prosperity? Who will be humbled and who exalted? Page 180. The prayer is written because this is something all Jews and their dear ones can do, but through a return to right path, through prayer and righteous giving, we can transcend the harshness of the decree. You are everything that we praise you for, slow to anger, quick to forgive. You do not wish the death of sinners, but urge them to return from their ways and live. Until the day of death, you wait for them. You accept them at once if they return. Since you created us, you know our impulses. We are but flesh and blood. Page 182. We read together in English. We who are mortal, our origin is dust, and so is our end. We wear out our lives to get our bread, like broken vessels, like withered grass, like a flower that must fade, a shadow moving on. But for you, ever-living sovereign, time has no limits. Your presence, unbounded by days and years, is everywhere, a glorious mystery none can decipher. Your name is worthy of you, and you are worthy of your name, and our name you have linked with yours. We turn to page 184, and we rise.
Nekadesh,
Please be seated. We turn to page 189. Andrew Paley is our reader.
The right to be different. By its mere existence, Judaism is a never-silent protest against the assumption of the multitude that force is superior to truth. Just because it was always a minority, Judaism has become a standard of measurement of the law of morality. How the Jewish community has been treated by the nations among which it has lived is always a measure of the extent to which right and justice have prevailed. For the measure of justice is always its application to the few. It requires religious courage to belong to a minority, such as Judaism always has been and always will be. For many days will come and go before the messianic time arrives.
I remember when the internet seemed young and idyllic. Now it's corrupt and savage. To help survive, there are services like 1Password, which keep encrypted all of your passwords in one place. So a person only needs to remember a single password. Similarly, teach the Hasidic masters is the shofar. It's the master key for unlocking a broken heart and finding renewal and God's compassion. The Auschwitz exhibit in New York that B'nai Israel and the Federation will be visiting on November 3rd under the direction of Abby Peklow includes a shofar that was said to have been smuggled out and sounded by a work detail at an Auschwitz subcamp in 1944. The shofar on display in New York was brought to Israel, where it was sounded off the coast of Haifa. Next week, at the end of Yom Kippur, after the Tekiah Gedola, we conclude next year in Jerusalem. Ethan Paley's shofar, itself purchased in Jerusalem, reminds us there's something about the shofar that resonates deep within the Jewish soul, a type of password unlocking a host of emotions and opportunities. We invite forward Ethan Paley and Dan Goodman. We turn to page 206. For those who are able, we invite you to rise. Tekiah. Shvarim Trua. Tekiah. Tekiah. Shvarim. Tekiah. Tekiah. Trua. Tekiah. Please be seated. Page 216. Silent prayer, pages 218 and 220. our tradition teaches that God accepts us as us. That's the meaning of the Hebrew phrase, Ein banu ma'asim, we have little merit, or better, I nonetheless have a sense of being able to be accepted with all my flaws. As with children, God expects us to make mistakes. Learning from them is part of the lesson of life. We are not expected to be saints, just open to improving. We turn to page 222. For those who are able, we rise. Sherry and Eric Kipperman will be opening our ark. I also call forward at this time our Torah carriers, Mike Pekovich and BBYO President Ethan Durnell. We stand as those before us have stood, summoned to judgment, longing for love. Avinu Malkeinu, may these words be a bridge. They come from our hearts. May they lead us to you.
Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Koleinu,
page 226. When first we appeared on the stage of world history, a book was in our hands, this book, this sacred scroll. And we were told, this is very near to you, in your mouth and in your heart. And we were told, you can surely do it. And then we learned, this is where heaven and earth touch. Page 227.
Ein Kanocha v'Elohim Adonai v'en ha'masecha Malechutecha malechut kol olamim u'memshaltecha v'chol dor v'dor Adonai
Page 228. These are the attributes of God. Adonai, Adonai, God compassionate, gracious, endlessly patient, loving, and true, showing mercy to the 1000th generation, forgiving evil, defiance, and wrongdoing, granting pardon.
No
Given the annual cycle of a never-ending story, each year I try to share something new, a different commentary, another lens in which to see things, asking the unsettling question at the heart of the matter: Isaac Moses ben Moses Arama, a rabbi who fled Spain in 1492 and died shortly afterwards in Naples, he observed, "What was accomplished by Abraham when he took Isaac to be slaughtered was paralleled by Moses when he took his family from the safety of the house of Jethro," that is, from his father-in-law's house, "and proceeded towards Egypt, where persecution awaited him and his family." End quote. This is a bitter and poignant insight offered by a Jew who was ultimately forced to flee, either to abandon his homeland and his familiar surroundings, or abandon his Jewish identity and faith. He explains that from our people's very origins, the Jewish experience is not a path of least resistance. Our ongoing covenant invites risk in the service of freedom and human dignity. We need but reflect on the past year to appreciate the challenge. In Lemele by Ber Schnapir, a poem published in Vienna in 1936 as part of an anthology of Yiddish poetry from Galicia, the tension of our ongoing discomfort with the binding of Isaac is again revealed. The poet, himself soon to perish in the Holocaust, paints the scene. "And here's the wood, and here's the altar, and the knife too has been prepared, ready for the sacrifice. We're both waiting, but the lamb is still not here. And here's the sun, a breast for suckling, and here's the day, still young and blue. And no one wants to lay himself down, and the lamb is still not here. And none of us wants to go home, and none of us wants to stay here, and none of us can be ready, and the lamb is still not here. And here's the wood, and here's the altar, and the knife too has been prepared, ready for the sacrifice. We're both waiting, but the lamb is still not here. And here's the rope and the basket for bones, and here's the sack for hooves, and here's the fire laid out on the stones, and the lamb is still not here. And here the day will soon vanish, and here's the night, a black crow, and we will also vanish, and the lamb is still not here. And none of us wants to go home, and none of us wants to stay here, and none of us can be ready, and the lamb is still not here. And here's the wood, and here's the altar, and the knife too has been prepared, ready for the sacrifice. We're both waiting, but the lamb is still not here. And here's the sun, a breast for suckling, and here's the day, still young and blue, and no one wants to lay himself down, and the lamb is still not here." Decades later, his perspective summons us. And what about us? Will we, how will we preserve this history, legacy, and covenant? From the binding of Isaac through the exodus from Egypt, from the expulsion from Spain through the Shoah, hearing the sound of the shofar and hearing this dramatic tale. May we rededicate ourselves to be part of an ongoing continuity, focusing on life, history, and renewal, even when the Lamb is still not here. Rabbi Eric Silver is our Baal Koreh. Dr. Dan Goodman is our Gabbai. The blessings before and after the reading of the Torah are found on page 230. The portion itself will be found beginning on page 240 of our Machzorim. V'yamdu Rishon, we invite forward Tracy and David Hill for our first Aliyah to the Torah.
You again. Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. V'yehi achah hadvarim ha'ele v'ha'elohim nisha et Avraham v'yomer elav Avraham v'yomer hineni v'yomer kach na et b'necha et yechidecha she'ahavta et Yitzchak v'lech lecha eretz haMoriah v'alehu sham le'ola al echad ha'harim asher amar elecha v'yashkem Avraham baboker v'yachavos et chamoro ויקח את שני נעריו איתו ואת יצחק בנו ויבקע עצי עולה ויקום וילך אל המקום אשר אמר לו האלוהים ביום השלישי וישא אברהם את עיניו וירא את המקום מרחוק ויאמר אברהם אל נעריו שלכם פה עם החמור ואני והנער נלכה עד כה ונשתחווה ונשובה עליכם ויקח אברהם את עצי העולה וישם יצחק בנו ויקח בידו את האש ואת המאכלת וילכו שניהם יחדיו ויאמר יצחק אל אברהם אבי ויאמר אבי ויאמר הנני בני ויאמר הנה האש והעצים ויעשה לעולה ויאמר אברהם אלוהים יראה לו עשה לעולה בני וילכו שניהם יחדיו.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Via Amod Sheni, Stephen Reps, we invite forward B'nai Israel's first Vice President, Stephen Reps, for the second Aliyah to the Torah.
Adonai Ambarak Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamarovach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher B'Kabana Mikol Ha'amin V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Vayavo el hamakom asher amalo haElohim. Vayiven sham Avraham et hamizbeach vayaroch et ha'etzim. ויעקוד את יצחק בנו, וישם אותו על המזבח ממעל העצים. וישלח אברהם את ידו, ויקח את המאכלת לשחוט את בנו. ויקרא אליו מלאך אדוני מן השמיים, ויאמר אברהם, אברהם, ויאמר הנני. ויאמר אל תשלח ידך אל הנער, ואל תעש לו מאומה, כי אתה ידעתי כי ירא אלוהים אתה ולא חסכת את בנך את יחידך ממני. וישא אברהם את עיניו וירא, והנה איל אחר נאחז פספח בקרניו. וילך אברהם ויקח את האיל ויעלהו לעולה תחת בנו.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet V'Pei Olam Natan B'Tochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Amen. Via Amod Shlishi, we invite forward Joel Abramson for our third Aliyah to the Torah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamavorot. Baruch Adonai Hamavorot Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamavorot Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Asher Bocha Bona Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. ויקרא אברהם שם המקום ההוא אדוני יראה, אשר יאמר היום בהאדוני יראה. ויקרא מלאך אדוני אל אברהם שנית מן השמיים, ויאמר בי נשבעתי נאום אדוני, כי יען אשר עשית את הדבר הזה ולא חסכת את בנך את יחידך.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת בחיי עולם נוטה בכוחנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
אמן.
Via Amod Rivi'i, we invite forward Nelson Zakin for our fourth Aliyah to the Torah.
Kivarech. Baruch Hu es Adonai Havarach.
Baruch Adonai Havarach Le'olam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Havarach Le'olam Vaed. Baruch Adonai Havarach Le'olam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amin, v'nosan lanu es toraso. Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Amen. Ki barech avarechacha והבעבד זרעך ככוכבי השמיים וכחול אשר על שפת הים וירא זרעך שאוהביו והתברכו בזרעך כל גויי הארץ עקב אשר שמעתי בקולי וישוב אברהם אל נעריו ויקומו וילכו יחדיו אל באר שבע וישב אברהם בבאר שבע. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמס וחיי עולם נטע בסלחנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נושן התורה. אמן.
Thank you, Nelson and Joel. Thank you, Rabbi Silver. Beautiful reading. We turn to page 246. For those who are able, we rise as the Torah will be raised. We invite forward Jan Albert, who is raising our Torah, and Barb Phillips, who is dressing our Torah. V'zot HaTorah you'll see towards the bottom of page 246. Zot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei
Israel, Ari Adonai v'yam Moshe. Lai 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 lai
Please be seated. Thank you. Page 233 for our blessing for recovery. I ask that those who have recovered from serious illness, who've returned safely from a long journey, who have survived recently a dangerous situation, I ask you to rise. And we say, blessed are you, our God eternal. Your majesty fills the universe. Through your generosity, I have experienced your goodness. And I ask that we all say at the bottom of the page in English, may the source of goodness bring you goodness at all times. And we say, Amen. Thank you. Since they're on their silent mode, feel free to take out your cell phone and text someone you care about that right now you are praying for their healing as the new year begins. Only, by all means, please finish your text prior to the Haftarah. Page 245. We turn to page 235. On this day of judgment, we honor those who honor us. I ask that our officers, the officers of B'nai Israel, please rise. The trustees, please rise. The officers and trustees of Sisterhood, kindly rise. Board members of the LLC, our joint campus, please rise. Our choir, please rise. Our BVYO leaders and members, please rise. Our committee members, please rise. Our Federation partners, the Board of the Federation, please rise. Our religious school teachers and tutors and teaching assistants and staffers and director, please rise. Our confirmation students, please rise. And now, the spouses of those people, please rise. Don't be shy. And the children of those people, please rise. You all stand proud. And I ask that we all read together on page 235 this blessing to those who have brought honor to our community and our people. May the Creator of conscience, who implants within us the desire to do good, bless you who rise today to receive our gratitude and praise. May you take joy in your achievements, finding meaning in a life of service. And may you go from strength to strength. We pray that all your endeavors will prosper and that your deeds will inspire others, bringing honor to our community and our people. We join with your friends and family in celebrating of your good works. As together we say, Kol HaKavod, all honor to you, for you honor us through your deeds. Thank you. Please be seated. This is an auspicious time. Here's what's taught in the Talmud by our sages. In Tishrei, the world was created. During Rosh Hashanah, Sarah, Rachel, and Hannah were remembered. They all seek to become pregnant. They all had children. During Rosh Hashanah, Joseph left the dungeon. During Rosh Hashanah, slavery ended for our ancestors in Egypt. What links the events mentioned after creation is rescue, redemption, finding oneself out of a torturous circumstance. So too what's telling is that each of those figures mentioned, like Hannah, sought to make the most of their new circumstance to help others. Commenting on God remembering Hannah, Dr. Rachel Edelman notes that God's remembering isn't about having forgotten something. It's about punctuated moments in history when the divine presence intervenes to create significant change. May that be a model of inspiration for our own buried and barren souls on Rosh Hashanah. Especially should we, in keeping with the tradition of this day, likewise follow suit in a determination to pursue blessing beyond ourselves. Page 247 for the blessing, page 250 for the Haftarah. Our Maftirim, our readers this morning, Eric Albert, Peggy Klein, Linda Goodman. You won't need this.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'neviim tovim v'ratzav v'divreihem hane'marim ba'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'torah u'Moshe avdo u'v'Yisrael amo u'v'nevieh ha'emet v'tzedek. Vayehi ish echad min haramatayim tzofim mehar Ephraim u'shemo Elkanah ben Yerocham, Ben Elihu, Ben Tohu, Ben Suf, Ephrati. Velo shetei nashim shem achat chana, v'shem hashenit, Penina vayehi lifnina yeladim, ulchana ein yeladim. Ve'ala ha'ish hahu me'iri miyamim. Yamima lehish tachavot, V'lizboach le'Adonai Tzevaot b'Shilo v'sham shenei b'nei Eli tafni ufnatchas kohanim le'Adonai vayehi hayom vayizbach Elkanah v'natan lifnina ishto ulchal baneha uvnoteha manot ulchana yitain mana Achat afim ki et chana ahev Adonai sagar rachma v'ka'asata tzarata gam ka'as ba'avur harima ki sagar Adonai be'ad rachma v'chein ya'aseh shana v'shana midei alotai b'veit Adonai kain Hach isena vatichkeh velo tochal. Vayomer la Elkanah isha chana lama tivki vilama lo tochli vilama yera livavech halo anochi tov lach ma'asara banim.
Vatakim Chana acharei achla v'shilo, v'acharei shato ve'eli hakohen yoshev al hakisei al mezuzot hechal Adonai. V'hi marat nefash v'titpalel al Adonai uvcho tivkeh. V'tidor nedar v'tomer Adonai tzivaot im ra'o terah. Be'eni amotecha uzkartani v'lo tishkech et amotecha v'natiteh le'amatecha zera anashim unatativ la'adonai kol yameh chayav umora lo ya'aleh al rosho v'haya ki hirbata lehitpaleh lifnei Adonai Ve'eli shomer et piha. V'chana היא מדברת על ליבה רק, שפתיה נאות וקולה לא יישמע, והשווה אלי לשיכורה. ויאמר אליה אלי, עד מתי תשתחרין הסירי את עינך מעלייך? And Hannah answered and said, No, my Lord, a woman of sorrow am I. I drank neither wine nor spirits, but poured out my soul before the Eternal. Do not take your servant for a worthless woman. All this time I have spoken from the depth of my anger, from the greatness of my grievance. Then Eli answered and said, Go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant the request you have made. And she said, May your servant find grace in your sight. And the woman went on her way, and she ate, and her face was no longer as it had been. And they awoke early in the morning and worshipped before the Eternal. And they went home, returning to Ramah. And Elkanah knew Hannah his wife, and the Eternal remembered her. And so it was that at the turn of the year, Hannah conceived, and then gave birth to a son. And she called him Samuel, because I requested him from the Eternal.
ויעל האיש אלקנה וכל ביתו לזבוח לאדוני את ספח הימים ואת נדרו וחנה לו עלתה כי אמרה לאישה עד יגמל הנער והביא אותיו ונראה את פני אדוני וישב שם עד עולם ויאמר לה אלקנה אישה עשי הטוב בעינייך שבי עד גם לך אותו אך יקם אדוני את דברו ותשב האישה ותינק את בנה עד גומלה התוהו ותעלהו עמה כי אשר גמלתו בפרים שלושה והיפה אחת קמה ונבל יין ותביאהו בית אדוני שילה והנער נער וישחטו את הפר ויביאו את הנער אל עלי ותאמר בי אדוני אש נפשך אדוני אני האישה הניצבת עמך בזה להתפלל אל אדוני אל הנער הזה התפללתי וישתהו אדוני לו את שאלתי אשר שאלתי מעמו, וגם אנוכי ישילתותי לאדוני כל הימים אשר היה הוא שאול לאדוני, וישתחו שם לאדוני. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, צור כל העולמים, צדיק בכל הדורות, האל הנאמן, האומר ועושה, המדבר ומחייב, שכל דבריו אמת וצדק, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים ועל יום הזיכרון הזה שנתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו, לכבוד ותפארת על הכל. אדוני אלוהינו, אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך, יתברך שמך בפי חולך תמיד לעולם ועד, ודברך אמת וחיים לעד. ברוך אתה אדוני מלך על כל הארץ, מקדש ישראל ביום הזיכרון.
Amen. Just beautiful. Thank you. Just beautiful. We turn to page 267. We invite back Ethan Paley. Out of remembrance, remember the covenant of our ancestors. We reaffirm it today. Remember, we are a people of noble ideas. Help us attain them. Remember all your people, all the nations on the road to peace. Bless their efforts. Remember with mercy the binding of Isaac, the sorrow of Sarah, Abraham's words, Hineni, here I am. We turn to page 268. For those who are able, please rise.
God of holiness, we hear your message. Justice, justice you shall pursue. God of freedom, we hear your charge. Proclaim liberty throughout the land. Inspire us through your teachings and commandments to love and uphold our precious democracy. Let every citizen take responsibility for the rights and freedoms we cherish. Let each of us be an advocate for justice, an activist for liberty, a defender of dignity. And let us champion the values that make our nation a haven for the persecuted, a beacon of hope among the nations. May our actions reflect compassion for all people within our borders and abroad. May our leaders and officials embody the vision of our founders to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. We pray for courage and conscience as we aim to support our country's highest values and aspirations, the hard-won rights that define us as a people, the responsibilities that they entail. We pray for all who serve our country with selfless devotion, in peace and in war, from fields of battle to clinics and classrooms, from government to the grassroots, all those whose noble deeds and sacrifice benefit our nation and our world. We are grateful for the rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness that our founders ascribed to you, our Creator. We pray for their wisdom and moral strength, that we may be guardians of these rights for ourselves and for the sake of all people, now and forever.
Amen. We turn to page 275. Adar Lubin, chair of our Pardon me, 274.
I am planning to read 75.
275.
It's a prayer for Israel. It is written, I will establish a home for my people Israel and will plant them firm, so they shall dwell secure and shall tremble no more. I will give you safety from all enemies. Source of our people's liberation, whose home is in the human heart, give strength and shelter to the state of Israel and its people, and to the Zionists and the Zion's friends in all countries. With love, nourish the sapling of the land and preserve its old growth. Bless the seeds of democracy planted by courageous pioneers. Bring to flower a good society rooted in history and hope, made holy by its unceasing pursuit of justice and made strong by its vision of equality and human dignity. Let sweetness overwhelm sorrow, joy overcome despair. Rock and Redeemer, may the words of the prophet be fulfilled. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Source of peace, we pray for an oasis of peace, a home secure and safe, a wellspring of shalom to Israel, its neighbors, and all people.
Thank you. We turn to page 277. For those who are able, we rise as the Torah will be returned to the Ark. Alan Schwartz, we invite you forward to open our Ark.
Amen.
back Ethan Paley. We turn to page 284. Blessed are you in our lives, Adonai. You hear with love the shofar, true voice of your people Israel. Tekiah. Be seated. That might well be a record. So, Yeshua. I enjoy being with people. Still, time alone is a pleasure. It relaxes me to sit outside on our home patio, reading or in quiet contemplation. My family will tell you I'm quite content performing solitary morning chores, futzing around the house, be it making the bed, emptying the coffee maker, even ironing. But total isolation is a form of torture. Weeks ago, a judge in Waterbury ruled permanent solitary confinement too cruel a punishment for even a heinous murderer. As countless studies indicate, we thrive in pack and posse. Case in point, to get a lower rate on our particular health insurance, Ellen and I must take periodic online surveys about our lifestyle choices. Happily, our score is raised, and thus our premiums lowered by participation in a faith community. From the vantage of the actuary or bureaucrat, social interaction here, or elsewhere for that matter, is of distinct benefit. To be human is to live in relationship, to live in community. And things likely extend even beyond humans. My gardener wife informs me that pepper plants have to be close enough so that their leaves are touching. When I check Facebook to stalk you, I often see postings of numerous congregants, photos of meals, get-togethers, concerts, sporting events, etc., shared experiences. You are rarely alone in those photos. As such, the question before us isn't, do we need to participate in groups with others? That's a given. Instead, the question before us, which groups must we sustain and why? Today is known in our tradition as Yom Hadin, the Day of Judgment. Rosh Hashanah invites introspection as we contemplate mi yechyeh u'mi yamut, who shall live and who shall die, what shall thrive and what will wither. This morning's Torah reading, the binding of Isaac, likewise focuses the mind on such existential concerns, as does the narrative a few chapters earlier, as the Torah presents our founder, Abraham, endeavoring to save any innocence within the corrupt city of Sodom. Abraham bargained with God to a threshold of a minyan, that a mere 10 dedicated people, the entire city, with a mere 10 dedicated people, the entire city will be spared. Why doesn't Abraham attempt to whittle things down further to just one righteous individual? Because survival requires group effort. The insight lives on in our Hebrew vocabulary as the suffix nu, we, is ubiquitous in our prayers. Avinu, our parent. Malkeinu, our sovereign. Hoshienu, save us. It's not my parent, my sovereign, save me. Since the time of Abraham and Sarah, as Jews, we pray not for individual salvation, but communal blessing. As inheritors of a brit, a covenant, we focus on relationship. Hence, on this Rosh Hashanah, I offer a case for the why of our collective, of our synagogue, the Lama B'nai Yisrael. Why B'nai Israel? Abraham's bargaining suggests how community provides protection and direction. A later book of the Bible, Ecclesiastes, is more explicit. And if one should attack him, the two will stand against him, and the triple cord will not be quickly snapped. In other words, there's safety in numbers. The more isolated, the more vulnerable. For sure, as we enter 5780, prejudice targeting Jews deserves our attention. The stats confirm anti-Semitism, long contained, is now resurgent. Anti-Semitism is not fact-based. It's delusional. The haters conjure up their own fantasy image of us and then malign us. But that's no cause for reassurance. Last year, from Pittsburgh to Poway, we suffered the consequences of the heightened menace. There was also neo-Nazi vandalism close by at Adath Israel in Newtown. And B'nai Israel was targeted online with hate emails and faxes. Our enemies would delight to see us close our doors. This summer, we learned how white supremacists are collecting and sharing photos and names of Jews, particularly Jewish women, the launching of yet another new front. How might we address the metastasizing bigotry? Lone individuals won't thwart anti-Semitism. A person here, a person there, can't do it. Only sustained, concerted mutual effort can. Hence, the greater our communal apathy, indifference, or irresolution, the stronger the purveyors of hate. Looking to the future, our synagogue is the best bulwark against prejudice, for we promote understanding. We nurture allies within a larger interfaith community. Here is where leaders within the larger community come for guidance and to offer help. Without our congregation, its vision and contacts, we become more vulnerable. As such, your presence today to observe this ancient holy day makes an important statement about your own values, your identity, your solidarity, your self-respect. It may seem like a small act or a completely natural one. Nevertheless, it underscores a determination not to be cowed. That's part of the synagogue's role, to defend our interests. But in and of itself, that's not a lasting recipe for success. A prominent Jewish thinker wrote after the Holocaust of a 614th commandment: Jewish involvement lest Hitler be given a posthumous victory. Only affiliation rates for millennials makes obvious that knowledge of the Holocaust doesn't translate into a commitment to sustaining Judaism. What's needed instead is positive engagement. The noted historian of the Shoah, Deborah Lipstadt, explains, "My awareness of the many grievous wrongs that have been perpetrated against Jews throughout history is not the foundation of my Jewish identity. Jewish culture and Jewish history constitute the foundation of who I am." New York Times columnist Barry Weiss likewise observes, "But the Jews did not sustain their magnificent civilization because they were anti-Semites. Our tradition was always renewed by people who made the choice in the face of tragedy that theirs would not be the end of the Jewish story, but the catalyst for writing a new chapter." Pride is engendered and meaning actualized through our various acts of belonging and encounter. From hearing the shofar today, really was great, to decorating a sukkah or lighting Hanukkah candles, to eating matzah on Passover, from shouting Mazel Tov at a simcha, to helping form a Shiva minyan, from delivering a meal to the sick, to finding insight in a passage of ancient text. Judaism is made manifest through the numerous deeds of connection. These deeds of connection are known to us as mitzvot. When we welcome youth or adults into the household of Israel, grow as people, observe holidays, solemnize love, say goodbye at life's end, or mourn death, when we study the Jewish experience, worship and interact with others, or eat holiday foods, we as Reformed Jews perform mitzvot that strengthen our identities and our overall well-being. This makes us more than a social club. While we have many great people, wonderful congregants, determined leadership, a warm and skilled staff, we are not to be merely a social grouping. We aspire higher towards the sacred, towards deeper meaning and personal accountability. We reach towards God. For however one defines God, and there are many ways within our tradition, it's fair to say that we grow smaller without a link to the Holy One. Since Abraham and Sarah, we've understood ourselves by a determination to transmit values. Throughout the ages, we've consistently championed literacy and learning, freedom and reason, family and individuality. Think about your own core beliefs. Chances are they relate directly to the teachings of our sages and the historical Jewish experience, as taught and explored within this synagogue, as we affirm the sacred, something greater than ourselves. With its threefold mission as a house of prayer, study, and assembly, only the synagogue makes Jews. All other institutions use them. As a Reformed congregation, we help to fashion a certain type of Jew, one who welcomes all, who promotes equality of genders and sexual orientations, who values Torah, inclusion, and the choice of interfaith families to link themselves to our people, who is open to nuance and complexity and rejects fundamentalism, who wrestles with faith and deep questions, and who appreciates that while life cycle and worship are connection points, they must be augmented by deeds of caring and social action, such as our mitzvah garden and other efforts. We promote positive religious identity. There are, of course, less liberal alternatives. A few weeks back, close to the end of Shabbat, my daughter Ariel was driving back to Haifa from the Albright Archaeological Institute in East Jerusalem. Waze took her near an ultra-Orthodox area. As she slowed down on a winding hill, with adults looking on, Haredi children ran into the road and surrounded her car, pelting it with rocks for what they saw as a violation of the Sabbath. Alone and distressed, Ariel resolutely inched her way out, and no one was hurt. It would be tragic to cede the entire Jewish community or people to the stone throwers. We have work to do. 2/3 of older adults in America describe religion as a meaningful value, but just 1/3 of millennials do. We cannot give up on them or their children. That's why our synagogue board initiated a congregational futuring process to engage many of our members along with other stakeholders in small groups. With guidance from Rabbi Andrew Goodman, a son of this congregation who is now a dean at our Reform Movement Seminary, Hebrew Union College, Jewish Institute of Religion, we're focusing on a specific question, lama. Rather than making suggestions for what changes are likely to bring success or proposing plans as to how to implement any specific proposals, the strategy is to ask lama, why our congregation exists and why it should continue to exist. If we can successfully define this big why, the rest will follow. Beginning the work, things got a little silly at a recent committee meeting, as it was realized that the Hebrew word for why, llama, could be represented by a type of camel. Some, like me, who've been living under a rock, learned that llamas are a huge fad. Apparently, they abound in malls, social media, and even have their own Netflix show. Even the sober BBC pronounces the llama the new unicorn. Realizing how a llama might help to capture our attention, Matthew Siegel, a talented artist who answers directly to our president, his mom, was drafted to create a special graphic. This image was then printed on a refrigerator magnet. My Rosh Hashanah 5780 birthday gift to our membership. It's awfully cute. A wonderful piece of home decor, and a deeper reminder. It reminds us of the big why, Lama B'nai Israel. Lama B'nai Israel will also be the subject of this year's Yom Kippur afternoon discussion group, amongst many other opportunities offered for conversation. Expect a call or email and participate in one of our Lama spots. And should you have any thoughts or questions on the subject or process, you can email the committee at y@bneiisraelsouthbury.org. Mi yichyeh u'mi yamut. What shall thrive and what will wither? V'hoshienu, save us. Last year's Rosh Hashanah morning sermon focused on Project Tamid, the effort to build an endowment that can help to sustain the congregation through the demographic challenges we face here in Connecticut. That work is very much ongoing. I would thus be remiss were I not to ask the mature adults in this sanctuary, do your heirs need 100% of your estate when you die? If not, where can you leave a legacy of inclusive, sacred, positive impact? Where can you sustain the light of the generations? Have confidence. This Rosh Hashanah with Lama B'nai Israel, we likewise endeavor to write a new chapter and ensure, just as the leaves of Ellen's pepper plants touch one another, Jews and their dear ones will remain present in sacred relationship. And if one should attack him, two will stand against him, and the triple cord will not be quickly snapped. This collective, as a house of prayer, study, and assembly, is the triple cord. Our congregation's responses to the past year's tragedies and deaths attest to it. For even if one is tidying, it's not good to spend too much time futzing alone. Indeed, a proverb teaches, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. In determining as individuals to reject isolation and engage the synagogue as the new year begins, carrying forward a tradition starting with Abraham and Sarah, together we will go further. For in positively explaining Lama B'nai Israel, your ancestors will be proud of you, and children will bless your memory, Lador Vador, from generation to generation. Ken Yehi Ratzon, be this God's will.
We are kids, and we
We turn to page 286. For those who are able, we rise for the Aleinu. We invite forward Marcy and Phil Feynman to open our ark. Phil Feynman and Fran Balins. And 88. Page 292. God is that aspect of reality which elicits from us the best that is in us and enables us to bear the worst that can befall us. During this period of Shloshim, remember David Hoser, son of Joyce and Lou, Arnold Becker, father of Joel, Merrill Roberts, and Ursula Frank, mother of Diane Winnick. This Rosh Hashanah, we remember the yahrzeits, the anniversaries of the deaths of Ann Bress, Dorothy Danon, Harry Dime, Julian Epstein, George J. Friedman, Morton D. Goldman, Hortense Green, Eric Herman, Ann Kaplan Horn, Emmanuel Jackson, Celia J. Kamak, Nathan Lester, Benjamin Littman, Andrew Rudin, Ida Saperstein, Emmanuel Scher, Robert R. Strisick, Erna Weil, Ann Myers Weinstein, Elizabeth Woloshin. We add 6 names amongst the 6 million who perished in the Holocaust: Idle Ehrman, Boris Pruslin, Laser Pruslin, Moise Pruslin, Zalman Pruslin, and Boris Schatzman. For those who have no one but us to say Kaddish, we invite all present to rise if you are able. Our Mourner's Kaddish, page 292. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, B'alma divra chirute v'amlich malchute, B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye d'chol beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mavarach le'olam almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudesha b'rechu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiran bialma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. O say shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Lenu ve'al kol Yisrael. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for blessing. Together we say, Amen. Please be seated. We turn to page 296 for Yigdal. Joining Linda and me on the beam of this morning, Sherry and Eric Kipperman, Peggy and Jerry Klein. Few very brief announcements. If you're using one of the congregational books, please return it to our committee members in the library or leave it on your seats. We hope that you'll return tomorrow for our second day service and potluck luncheon, to be followed by Tashlich. Shabbat services are coming Friday night, 7:30. For Kol Nidre, which is on a week from Tuesday, if you have a talit, it's a time to wear it. If you haven't done so, concerning the Yom Kippur break fast, which is sponsored by Sisterhood, if you haven't RSVP'd, kindly do so, because we don't want to commit the sin of Bal Tashchit, of wastefulness. L'shana tova tikatevu. May we all be inscribed for a good year in the book of life.